Okay, well, we'll make a start. Hello, everybody. My name's Ian Brooke. I'm from EVOC, who are hosting today's little workshop about the potential for a community lottery in Edinburgh. I'm going to straight away hand over to Phil and to Mel from Gatherwell, which is our partner company that has been promoting the idea of Edinburgh Community Lottery to us. And I think Phil's got a deck of slides. I heard it described as that for the first time the other day. I don't quite like that phrase. A deck of slides to share with us to talk through what a community lottery might look like in the city. And then we'll have some questions and answers that we'll hopefully cover all together at the end. So please sit back, relax, and Phil, the floor is yours.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Well, I think one of the benefits of everyone using Zoom or Teams or whatever it might be is that we can get 50 people together on a Wednesday lunchtime. The negatives of it are that I don't get a nice travel and a nice visit to Edinburgh, which is an absolute favourite location to visit. My name's Phil Wright. I'm one of the senior managers for Gatherwell, and I've got a colleague Mel here on the call as well. And today's session is just sort of to run through a bit about sort of community lotteries, where they've started from, what it might look like in Edinburgh, and give some kind of real examples as to some of the other community lotteries that have been set up over the years, and kind of a bit about how it works for supporters. But more importantly for you guys here today, it's how does it work for you as a fundraising avenue and as a new income generation tool. So we'll kind of run through it in that order, and then at the end, happy to answer any questions and queries that might be thrown up as we go. So if I just share my screen, hopefully you guys can see that. Ian, can I just have a little thumbs up because I now can't see it? Yeah, perfect. Right, great. If I click. So a little bit about sort of us as Gatherwell and the community lottery. So we're Gatherwell. We're an organisation. We're what's called an external lottery manager. So we're licensed by the Gambling Commission to run lotteries for non-commercial reasons for organisations as a fundraising channel. And we started off back in 2013 with a platform called Your School Lottery, and our two founding directors, parents of children at school, and I think they were probably on it'd be a luxury now, I think, to be at a school fair, on a hot dog stand kind of thing, looking at and thinking, well, there's got to be a better way of fundraising than just always having purely events or fundraising or bait sales or whatever it might be, that gives a recurring income to the schools. And so we set up what's called Your School Lottery back in 2013, and we've now got just shy of about 2,000 schools on Your School Lottery. So if anyone is a school head or anything like that, or a trustee or a governor, then that's there for schools already as part of that. But then in 2015, we were approached by Aylesbury Vale Borough Council in Buckinghamshire. And they said, look, you're doing this for schools already. The writing's on the wall in so much as central government funding around income being cut for local authorities. And then obviously the knock-on effect of what happens then to the third sector and some of the discretionary spend that's associated with the sector. And they wanted to look at, well, look, we can keep on cutting back on funding or grants program or provision or whatever it might be, but we can also look at other ways of income generation and ways to actually supplement that and provide a bit of an enabler for fundraising for the third sector. And so that was where the first multi-cause community lottery was set up. And we've now got about, well, it's over 80 now, either local authority or community, third sector, CVS, TSI-led lotteries throughout the UK. So that goes up to the Western Isles, all the way down to Gosport on the south coast. Powys is probably the most westerly, and then across to sort of Essex and East Anglia. So right across the breadth of the UK, and probably a little bit more locally to you guys. We've got Glasgow Community Lottery, East Lothian, Argyll and Bute, Clackmannanshire. I think that's all the ones I can think of on the top of my head, that are all in the process of either set up or being set up at the moment. So kind of gives a bit of an idea as to some of those of how we work. And the idea was all about fundraising, providing an avenue for the community in a local area to raise money, with that money going back to chosen causes within a local area. So that's very much what makes it different to most other sort of lotteries than you might be aware of. Why a lottery? Because it engages a slightly different individual in terms of fundraising. There's that value transaction between the supporter and the cause, you guys as the good cause or the charity. Regular cash, although there's been an increase over the last year to 18 months with COVID in terms of actual cash donations, actually regular giving has seen across the third sector has seen a decline. And so with a lottery, it's regular, recurring, sustainable, unrestricted finances that can come into the organisation. And it appeals to some of those people that may know that it's a good idea to donate to a good cause, but they just maybe need that little nudge, that little engagement to say, there is something for you. But all the messaging around it's about supporting good causes with a little added incentive that they might win something in return. So it's, around incentivized giving rather than sort of the win big, change your lifestyle kind of, prizes. And I'll come on to sort of how that works in a minute there. So it just encourages, a little bit of those optimistic sort of prize motivated supporters. But we are also very, very aware that some people will choose not to play, whether that's for religious or moral reasons. It is a regulated industry that we're in, but the Gambling Commission, identified community lotteries like this as very, very low risk. But we've also got a number of different sort of mitigating factors and checks and balances in place to make sure we are appealing to those people that can afford to play and want to support the good causes as part of it. This was just an example as the first draw with Glasgow. So a comparable sort of population size, slightly different demographic, but a city no less. First draw, I think it was September, November 2020. Had 42 winners. They had the first draw. They had about 70 good causes sign up. So this was ahead of the tickets go live, and I'll explain that sort of launch process in a second. Selling over 1,300 tickets, and that sort of steadily grown somewhat, and raising just under £45,000 a year, sort of projected over the year. So that's kind of from a day one kickoff as the lottery. And the idea is the more causes on the platform, the more people that are having their own page on the platform, and I'll show you how that works in a second, the more people choose to play and support, so the more money that's being raised. So obviously we've got 55 causes or individuals here representing organizations. We want that to grow. I'm not sure how many hundred are part of EVOC's kind of distribution list, but we want as many as possible to take advantage of it. And also you've all got your own demographic, your own supporter base, your own community that you speak to. So that tries to get that message out to the whole city to say, we're part of Edinburgh Community Lottery, support us and you can help us fundraise. This is just an example of, as I mentioned, kind of all over the place, all over where we're operating lotteries. You may or may not be able to see this in detail, but the ones in red are the ones that are being operated either by TSI like EVOC or CVS organisations. The others are by local authorities. So it works sort of hand in hand, depending on who takes sort of the mantle and the driving force behind setting it up. But it's been great speaking to Ian and the team, and they've been keen to obviously look at this as a fundraising tool for you as good causes in Edinburgh. I mean, how does it work? It's a lottery. I'm not trying to teach your granny how to suck eggs. It's a lottery from that point of view there. But it is slightly different in comparison to most others. So we build a lottery platform. So it will have the look and the feel of Edinburgh. So we'll ask for some images. We'll ask for sign off of, the colours, the palette, the what it looks and feels like. But we build the platform on a platform that we know works, it engages, it's secure, and people can obviously buy tickets and have draws on the lottery. Tickets cost £1 a week, and that's very, very important because we don't want to be sort of encroaching on the national lottery, which is £2 a week there, but it is £1 a week and it's set up via regular payments. So for you as local good causes, once someone signs up to play, we want them to play on an ongoing basis. So that means that you get a regular revenue every month into your bank account based on those players. Also, by being a regular payment or a block of payments, it just is less attractive to those people that may have some cash in their pocket, that may be trying to chase a quick win at a weekend or something like that, and may be playing for the wrong reasons. You know, we're not interested in appealing to anyone like that. And actually, the data shows that it's not those types of individuals that play as well. So we're very, very concerned, you know, to make sure the people are playing for the right reasons to support the good causes. But the difference with this lottery is when someone signs up, when someone comes on to edinburghcommunitylottery.scot.org.co.uk, you know, whatever it is agreed, is that they then have a choice of who they want to support. By buying a ticket, they say, right, I want to support Edinburgh Three-Legged Cat Charity, or I want to support the local food bank, or I want to support just broadly community projects that are happening in Edinburgh, and then some of that money will then go into EVOC to be distributed out more generally. That's got to be sort of, you know, discussed, but it gives the players the option to say, actually, I want to support a specific cause that is close to my heart, or I just want my money going into a pot that then is decided by a reputable organisation on how that is spent on good on projects or good causes within the city that may not have their own, you know, may not be on the lottery already. When people buy tickets, they sign up on recurring payments. So they do it as so about 95% is done via direct debit or done by debit card. So direct debit, obviously someone signs up and it is deducted out of their bank every month via direct debit, or they sign up on a debit card in which there is a payment that's taken, debited on the account every month. The other 5% do it as block payments. The minimum amount is a month or 5 weeks worth of tickets, or people can do 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months worth of tickets. So they buy a block of payments. And then, you know, the more numbers they match, like any other lottery, the bigger the prize that they win. But a little bit different with this lottery is when someone wins something, we send them an email, say, you know, congratulations, you've won. But at that point, we sort of bit of a pull on the heartstrings to say, congratulations, you've won. Would you like to donate that money back to the good cause that you're supporting? Because it's one of those, you know, if someone wins £25 or, you know, even £2,000, it's a little bit of, do you really need this money, or would it be nice to support the cause again? And about 10% of all winners do donate it back to the causes each time. So it's a nice reinforcement of that fundraising mindset. And then where does the money go? So as I mentioned, the tickets cost £1. 60% or 60p in the pound goes to good causes. Generally, and this is TBC, but the majority of the time it's 50p goes directly back to you as the good cause. So you get 50p of every pound that comes back, you know, of a ticket bought. 10p of that then goes to the central fund, which would then be, you know, up to EVOC to use, maybe to offset a couple of some of the setup costs a little bit, maybe to use as an added pot to spend throughout projects. But as a registered charity in their own right, obviously that can be then spent in a way that is appropriate in and around the city. If someone chooses, you know, EVOC or the central fund, I should say, as their chosen cause, then the whole 60p would go back to the central fund. But the difference is when you as a good cause, you know, put something on your Facebook or put something up on a notice board for when people start getting back together in, you know, venues and things like that, or if it's, you know, you send an email out to your supporters, or, you know, put it on the bottom of your signature in your email, for example, like that, is when someone buys a ticket, they will land on your page. So when you send an email, that they will click on the link and they'll land on your page on the Edinburgh Lottery website. So you will then, you know, the more marketing, the more promotion that you do as a good cause, the more people are likely to find you. And when they then buy a ticket, it then creates that, you know, link between your email being sent out or your Facebook post being sent and them buying a ticket. And obviously then that's the way that they find you. Alternatively, if they just hear about the community lottery and they want to come onto the site, then they can also search by you via name, or they can search via a category. So whether that might be animals, you know, sports, whether it could be children, disability, all different sorts of things there. They can search and you categorize yourself as part of that. 20% covers all the prizes. So there's no risk to you as the good cause, or EVOC as the organisation to cover any of the prizes whatsoever. And I'll come on to the prize in a second. And there is also some running costs involved as well. So 16.67 pence is essentially the fee that comes to us, but that also includes VAT. You know, there's no VAT on lottery tickets, but there is on the services for our running of the lottery. To put that 60% in perspective, though, somewhere like the Health postcode National Lottery, they fluctuate between about 32 and about 28%, something like that, in terms of the money in the pound going back to the good cause. So we were set up to support, you know, children's schools, and we've kind of made sure we've continued that in terms of giving back as much money back to good causes as possible. So, you know, 60p in the pound is a significant amount. As our license, as an external lottery manager, the minimum amount is 20p in the pound, has to go back to good causes. You know, that's not why we were set up. So that's why we give, you know, a darn sight more back. And that's why I think it's become so popular, because actually the majority of the money then goes to good causes. A little bit goes to a decent prize fund, and some of that goes to the running of the lottery through the service cost there. The prize fund. So as I mentioned, there's no risk whatsoever to any of the good causes to take part in it. The prize fund works with a jackpot prize as well as then a number of smaller prizes. The jackpot prize, if you match 6 numbers, so when you buy your ticket or you choose your numbers, you choose 6 numbers between 0 and 9. And then as the numbers come out, you match them in that order. So if you matched all the numbers in the correct order, those 6 numbers, you would win £25,000. It doesn't matter how many lotteries we run, whether we were just running Edinburgh's or we were running every single community lottery in the UK, then all of the odds are exactly the same. So whether you were selling 1 ticket or 10,000 tickets, each individual player has the same opportunity to win a prize. That jackpot prize there as well, it's got a little asterisk next to it. That bit at the bottom, hopefully you can read it. That's not a small print get out of jail clause, I do promise. What that says there is the jackpot prize is actually underwritten by prize insurance. So as we launched a community lottery in South Kesteven in Lincolnshire, they had a jackpot winner on their first ever draw. Well, funnily enough, they hadn't sold enough tickets to cover the £25,000 if they had to cover it out of purely ticket sales. But that's absolutely fine. That's covered within the £25,000 insurance policy. Sorry, it's the £25,000 prize. It's underwritten by prize insurance. Those lower prizes, Gatherwell then manage that risk. And so we know over a period of time, you know, depending on how many tickets sold, you know, those tickets will, you know, the number of winners will come out. But that's run, and those tickets and those winners are paid out. So if you had, you know, a handful of £2,000 winners on your second draw, that's absolutely fine. That they would all get paid out. If you had 2 jackpot winners, they would also both get paid out as well. Yeah, so it doesn't matter how many tickets you have, then every single player's got the same chance of winning a prize. As well as so the regular prize fund, we also at launch have what's called a bolt-on prize. That's something that is different for every lottery that we run, and that would be something that hopefully, you know, a local business, it might be something that is sourced locally. We wouldn't get involved with that. That'd be something that we would discuss with EVOC, or if you know of any organisations that would like to donate prizes locally. It's got to be of a significant value at launch. But we can also add what's called bolt-on prizes at launch. So it just gives it that added extra, you know, join before the 1st of September and you've got the chance to win £25,000 as well as other prizes, and you're supporting these causes. But also we've got a guaranteed number of winners that will win X, Y, and Z, you know, and so that's an added extra. We also, as Gatherwell, add what's called national bolt-on prizes throughout the year, sort of seasonal prizes throughout the year. So that's not just purely for your lottery. That would be across a number of different lotteries that we win, but those are always guaranteed winners. So that could be, we've done whether it might be a fruit and veg box every month for a year for a number of different people, whether it could be, we've done robot lawn mowers, we've done things like at Christmas we did a big gaming prize draw for individuals. we'll look at different prizes that we can support that we think is going to engage people, to retain them as players, but also maybe they might choose to buy another ticket as part of that, because ultimately that means that there's more supporters and more people, you know, from a fundraising point of view there. So keep your eye out for those sorts of bolt-on prizes. And then coming on to, and this is why you're all here, is how it works for you as the good cause. You know, because without you guys as good causes, there's no point in doing this, and that, you know, it falls down. And this is what it's all about. It's about fundraising for local good causes. So you, before it goes live to ticket sales, you would come on to and we'll do another sort of session of this once you know, as and when we get the go ahead, we'll do another session for this to kind of give you more information about it. But you would go onto the platform and you would register to be on the platform. There's no cost to you as the good cause whatsoever, but also there's no obligation for you to be on there for any certain time period. But once you've signed up, you know, then you're receiving money for the number of supporters that buy a ticket to play your lottery. So you would go on and you would apply to join. You would, as long as you meet the criteria that would be set by EVOC, you would then go on and apply. You would upload, you know, a logo of your good cause or your charity, or an image that represents you. You would say who you are, what you're raising money for, and you would have a point of contact on there, you know, to make sure we know who's kind of put that application in. You wouldn't go live on that platform until someone has approved you. So that someone then, you know, so probably someone within Ian's team or will say, yeah, we know who you are. You're a bona fide good cause. You meet these set requirements. You can go live on the platform. Because also what that means is we don't get anyone that isn't a good cause or isn't a charity or a constituted group or, you know, whatever that criteria is set. But it just means there's some oversight to it. Once you're approved, you'll then have your own page on the Edinburgh Community Lottery, or whatever the name might be, you know, yeah, TBC on that side of things. Once you're on that platform, you'll have your own page and you'll have your own dashboard with lots of different marketing materials that are made for you. So that will have the branding of the lottery, so the logo and the color palette and things like that, but also it will have your image or your logo, whatever it is you upload on that. So it just means that you've got automatically something to share on Facebook, something to print off if you want to, something to pop in an email, something to share on Twitter if you want to. It just makes life as easy as possible for you guys just to go out and just promote it a bit. You don't have to create any marketing assets or do any design or anything like that. All you do is just download it, and it will have, if it's a digital version, it'll have a link to your page on the website. So it means that you get rewarded for the number of, you know, supporters that click through your link as part of that. And then most importantly, every month, based on the number of ticket sales, you'll get paid into your nominated bank account the money that's been raised from all your tickets. So the more tickets you sell, the more money you'll raise. And normally that money's paid in on the sort of the first Tuesday or Wednesday of the month, as long as it's not bank holiday, but yeah, normally first Tuesday or Wednesday of the month, and that'll come into your bank account. This is just an example of one of the marketing materials that was done. This is a printable version because it's got a QR code on here. But this was something. So this was the Aldi lottery. So Glasgow's lottery there. Volunteer Glasgow is the good cause. It's got a little bit about what the lottery is all about. Someone can then, if this was on a notice board, scan that, or in a shop window can scan that QR code. You know, everyone's got used to scanning QR codes of late with checking in and track and trace and all that side of things there. But also, if this was a digital version, if someone would click on this image, it would take them directly to Volunteer Glasgow's page on the Aldi lottery. So it's just nice and easy marketing resources there. And these are updated seasonally as well. So every time there's something new going on, change a season, change a message, you'll get some new marketing tools that you can use and you can share. And you know, say thank you to your supporters who are supporting you, but also do some promotion to try and get some more supporters, obviously to help you raise more money. What will EVOC do? So they will have the license. So they will be licensed by Edinburgh City Council as the operator. So they'll get what's called a small society lottery registration, and that will be through Edinburgh City Council. They will set the eligibility criteria. I imagine by virtue of you guys being here, you're probably on an email distribution list already. You've heard about it, so I'm pretty sure that you'll all meet that criteria, I would have hoped. But also, if you know any friends or family that might meet the criteria that potentially aren't on the email distribution, then obviously, you know, the more the merrier. We want to get good causes onto this platform. They will approve the new good causes at the start or reject them if someone doesn't meet that criteria, if it's a private organisation, for example. And they will also authorise payments on a monthly basis. So they'll say, yeah, we're happy with all these payments. It's an automated process, but what it gives them is some due diligence to make sure that you will know locally if a cause goes under or something is being investigated. It just means we've got the chance to say, actually, we just need to hold payment to that good cause for the time being, just whilst there's some investigation going on. It just gives that oversight, which we think is important, because we say this isn't Gatherwell's lottery, this is Edinburgh Community Lottery, and EVOC would be the operator. And then they'll also do some promotion. Obviously, they've got 50 or so of you here today. That's kind of then that good cause building, and also then some hopefully some promotion. We'd like to think throughout to the wider population. If we can lean on Edinburgh City Council a bit, we'd like to hope that the message can get there a little bit further. Chamber of Commerce, local business. We'd like to get the message out there as wide as possible to let the supporters know about it. But also we want you to do the promotion there. Just very conscious of time, so I'll kind of run through quite quickly what we do, and then a bit of a timeline. So as I mentioned at the start, so we'll build the platform. So it'll have the look and the feel of Edinburgh. We want people to recognise it as something for the city, something for your community, and there's a fundraising message. But it's built on the kind of the backbone and the structure of our lottery platforms that are tried and tested, and we know work well. It's hosted on your domain. So as I say, EdinburghLottery.scot, Edinburgh Community Lottery, any kind of names or local associations, then we can look at that. But as I say, it would have its own domain. It's fully secure for payments, PCI compliant, and accessibility compliant as well. This is something, we understand this isn't a public service website, but we do think that it's important that it meets the accessibility criteria as a public service website. So it meets those criteria for anyone that has any accessibility issues with a website there. 99.7% uptime, it's monitored 24 hours a day, and it's fully responsive and automated to work ideally with mobile devices, because about 70% or so, and that's increasing, access these lottery websites through a mobile or a tablet. And I've just noticed a typo on there. It is a tablet and not a mobile or a table or a desktop. So I must update that, that spelling mistake. This is some example, as a mentioned, of some of the marketing tools, so some of the seasonal different things we've got here. There's also then would be a lottery, Facebook and Twitter page as well that would relate to it, to sort of share the message, share the numbers, share the good news and things that can go about there. The running a lottery, that's what we do, but there's a backbone and a dashboard that EVOC and also you as a good cause can access. So if you send out an email to your supporter base of 100 or whatever it might be, or parents of a sports team, or it could be, service users of a venue, then you can send an email out and you can actually then log in if you want to and see, have I had a peak in tickets? What have we sold an extra 10 tickets this week? But also what it allows EVOC to do is look at it on a bigger scale. So they can see exactly what this is doing and what this is generating for the broader community as the TSI, as the third sector organisation within Edinburgh. And also in terms of payments and the operating, if someone signs up for 6 months or a year, as they get to the end of their payment period, we would also contact them to encourage them to continue supporting your cause as well. But also importantly, you as a good cause, you're able to communicate with your supporters as well. So if someone signs up to play your lottery, to choose you, as long as they consent to being contacted, then you can also download and contact them to say, thanks for playing our page on the lottery. Here's where's your money's going, or this is what we're doing with your money. So it's a nice thank you and a bit of a relationship between you and your supporters. we also provide a local telephone number, so it would be an Edinburgh telephone number, and also a support at edinburghlottery.co.uk or whatever the name is. We would provide all of that communication and support. So if one of your supporters rings up, we would answer it as, how can we help you? It's Edinburgh Community Lottery, for example, on that. And any emails would be responded to as your brand under the Edinburgh Lottery branding. This is a little bit about sort of who tends to play the lottery. So it tends to, one data that we found is it tends to be slightly older, slightly more affluent individuals that choose to play as another form of fundraising. So sometimes people can say, lotteries, they're, it's a form of gambling, is that a risk? Yes, it can be regarded in that way. But the ways in which we set it up, the communication around fundraising, supporting causes, and the size of the prize structure and how it's distributed and the communication that goes out, it actually tends to incentivize slightly older, slightly more affluent individuals that want a different way to give to good causes. So that's just something there just to share for people to look at. But also, that's not just okay to say that it's nice that those types of people are able to play. We've also built into it some checks and balances. So it's maximum 20 tickets per checkout. So if someone hits 20 tickets, we'll get in contact with them to make sure that they're playing for the right reasons. It might be the case that they thought they were buying 20 as a one-off, happens every so often, but we just want to make sure they're playing for the right reasons and they can afford it and they're playing responsibly. There's no instant reward or gratification. You can't buy one ticket for one draw on the same day. So again, that kind of chasing the win, changing your life on a Saturday afternoon, you're not able to do that. And they say there's no cash, there's the ability to self-exclude. So if someone knows they have an issue, then they can self-exclude themselves from the lottery. And also, we have the Be Gamble Aware signposting as part of the site as well. And from our point of view as an external lottery manager, we give, say, minimum is 20% we have to give back. The other big ones you will have heard of will be, 28 to 32p. Well, actually 60p goes back to good causes from these sorts of lotteries that we run here. And all of the prize winnings and all of the money that's due to come to you as the good causes, that's held in a client deposit account outside of our operational finances, sorry. So that's secure. It's ring fenced from there, and there's no risk to you or EVOC to cover any of the prizes. And we've got quite a breadth of experience doing this. We are the only ELM that specialises in these multi-cause community lotteries, working with either councils or third sector interfaces. So it's something we're always trying to improve the service, improve the offering to help generate greater fundraising for you as good causes. And this is just sort of some, I'd say, kind of back of the fag packet kind of estimations as a bit of fundraising here. Based on your Edinburgh 16 plus population of just under 450,000, we would see for a city area between 0.5 to 1.5% of your 16 plus population playing. So averagely, people buy 1.8 tickets per week. So people don't just buy one ticket. Averagely, they buy just shy of 2 tickets per week per person. And over the year, over the 52 weeks of the year, that's where that kind of finance and the money and the income would come back to you as good causes. Obviously, there's a split of the 50% there. And also then that income generation to EVOC to cover the costs and expenses and a little income to them as well, as that central fund. So there's no guarantee. This is sort of based on other examples and real life lotteries that we run elsewhere. But there's no minimum, no maximum. We just want to encourage as many good causes to be on the platform, and then obviously as many local people to support you with buying a ticket. And then this is a rough sort of timeline to build. So we factor in about 3 or 4 months. This does also rely on EVOC. I'm not sure if we've got a license from Edinburgh City Council yet, a small society lottery registration yet, but it does rely on getting that license. It's just a process. There's no issue with actually qualification for it. It's just going through that process and them Edinburgh City Council just issuing it. But what we'll do is, so around about 8 weeks before the first draw, we'll do something like this again, slightly different and a bit more engaging, so you understand how you get the best out of it and how you use the platform once it's live. Give you time to go away and sign up, and then we'll do the first draw. Sorry, tickets go on sale. Tickets go on sale, so about 4 to 6 weeks after that, then we have the first draw. So this is all, you know, based on getting a license and getting the platform built, and obviously then the decision being made to go with the lottery idea. But it just kind of gives you a bit of an idea as to kind of what it's looking like in terms of a time frame. We normally try to avoid launching in school summer holidays, and also around, you know, the 2 weeks at Christmas as well. But this kind of gives you an idea as to kind of the normal launch time frame. But we'd support EVOC with the build of the platform and the launch as we go from here.